Hello and welcome everyone to yet another exciting episode of the Existence Annual Event Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bijeshi, and before we dive in, let me just say this. If skills are the new currency, I'm pretty sure I need to check my balance. And don't worry, by the end of this episode, we all will be little richer, at least when it comes to knowledge. Our topic today is skills as the new currency. In a world where technology evolves faster than the speed of a farmer spotting rain clouds, staying relevant is no easy task. Skills that were in high demand yesterday might be outdated tomorrow. This challenge calls for a shift in how we think about learning, development, and the future of work, especially in the agribusiness sector. At Agzistence, we envision embedding continuous learning into organizational culture to prepare for these challenges. By recognizing skills as the new currency, we aim to align career paths with business goals, foster internal talent development, and build an agile workforce ready to adapt to whatever the future throws our way. To explore this fascinating topic, I am joined by two remarkable leaders who are practically walking encyclopedias of expertise. First, we have Mr. Ramakrishna Mudholkar, or Mr. Ram as he is fondly known. With a career spanning more than 4 decades, he is a living legend in the agribusiness and corporate world. As the former president of DuPont South Asia, Mr. Ram led transformative innovations that changed the game for the organization. Now, as the co-founder of Agzistence, he continues to push the boundaries, combining skills, sustainability, and innovation to revolutionize the food and agri value chain. And joining us is the ever inspiring Mr. N.K. Rajavelu, a seasoned strategic leader with over 3 decades of diverse experiences. Currently, the CEO of Godrej Agrovet's crop protection business and seeds division, Mr. Rajavelu is a master at driving growth, nurturing teams, and championing sustainable agriculture. His belief in mentoring and collaboration reminds us that teamwork truly makes the dream work. Welcome, Mr. Ram and Mr. Rajavelu. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Let's dive in and talk about how skills are not just the new currency, but perhaps the gold standard for the future.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Vijayashree, and thank you, Mr. Rajavelu, for joining the fourth podcast to discuss this important topic. And really grateful to you for sparing time, your valuable time.
Thank you.
So it's very interesting that to talk about this topic, skills as the new currency, as the theme suggested or proposed here for discussion. It's interesting because skills and skill as a subject has always been there, right? And so therefore, in today's context, however, we see there's a lot more discussion out in the open nowadays about the need for skill enhancement across industries in general, I'm saying. And in fact, I was recently reading the news report that Ivy League business schools in the US have seen a significant drop in recruitment in the last 1 year, couple of years. And it's sort of related to, and it was very interesting and surprising to see that, they see mismatch of skills with the graduates coming from even these big management Ivy League colleges in the US. So what had changed that this subject is back on top of the agenda, looks like globally, in terms of the relevance of skills and in fact the new currency, while it has always been there. So it will be interesting to know your thoughts because you are leading a large organization. Not only that, but you are an industry leader with experience. How do we see this emerging kind of scenario?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ram, for having me, and Dr. Vijay. So, I think very important topic, which is very relevant for today's industry, as well as the younger generation who are trying to pursue a career in several industries, including ours, agriculture. So, if I have to be very specific, the way the landscape for agriculture has changed. Today, the farmer is much more knowledgeable, and he has been able to get all the information at his fingertips. And the usual way of talking to a farmer has gone by. Over the past several years, it has changed a lot. So the younger generation, or the people who are joining in our organization, the first thing is to ensure that we are a customer oriented organization or an industry, and we need to understand and really pace up with the speed which the customer or the farmer is gaining advantage. Today, if you go to a Chhattisgarh farmer, he can talk on a technical name, which is something very phenomenal, which you have not seen in some other parts of this country. So we do a lot of gap assessment with the current generation who are with us, as well as the old generation who are with us also. And we are now looking at what could be the current gaps that we should bridge immediately, and what could be the future which could also help us. You will not believe that we had recently decided to run a training program on artificial intelligence in the company, and you can see the overwhelming enrollment that happened, that we have to stop at some point of time, saying that we can have a second batch. The point was that people feel that need, that skill is going to be the one which is going to help them in the future, and that shows the gap that we have today, as well as what we're trying to bridge that. So this is one such example, I believe, that all of us have to do it. Also adding to this, as an industry, as an organization, I think this is very important thing that we need to assess from time to time, and make sure that our people are on the right track in terms of gaining those competencies in the form of that skill that we want from them.
I was expecting you to mention artificial intelligence, because so much out there in any conversation you move around, and this comes up.
Yes.
I think that was a great initiative in your organization to get people sort of introduced to what this monster is about, or the big tool about. So in view of AI and also the digital interventions happening on such a scale now, I want to pick your ideas in terms of how it will change the way we work and the way we reach out to farmers. I think the good old days of the old inputs that we used to use, I think is going to change substantially. So anything that Godrej has thought about or is already doing, like you already are talking about AI with your people. I'll give an example, like in my opinion, there's no need to really do thousands of demos anymore.
No.
You can probably do 10 demos in 10 agroclimatic zones and then stream it across. So it's going to substantially change, and then it gets associated with the skills, because this will require a different set of skills to reach out to farmers, connect as effectively. So your thoughts?
No, I think very interesting question again, Mr. Ram. It was surprising to us again when we started this digital marketing initiative in our organizations. So I come from that old school of thought, what I know in terms of Facebook, social media means it's about Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and all those stuff that we are trying to look at it. But we hire a younger generation who come and tell that's the things are already changing it. I think we should have a look at it, and they come with facts and tell us. Thanks to the internet in India, I think the internet has gone into the rural areas so well that the adoption of new technologies is easy for us. So we need to understand that. So one such example which really helped us, and which is actually picking up, is in the YouTube, farmers like the reels. So we were trying to understand, and we made a survey with all the farmers, which social media you are more interested. The first question to them was on the type of social media they're interested. They said YouTube, and in YouTube they said immediately Reels. Then we asked them, what is it? What is it you like about in the Reels? This is it's just in 30 seconds I know what I want to get.
Right.
So the span of attention is not more than 30 seconds to a minute. And in that 30 seconds to 1 minute, you need to make your content so attractive, convey the message, which I correlate with always with my team members. I used to tell them that you need to do an elevator speech when you talk to your superiors. So imagine you travel with your boss,
Yeah.
30 seconds you reach the top floor, but you need to convey the message. That's the time you get to convey the message. So that brings in a different skill set. The farmers now today look at that way, that my span of attention is not more than 30 seconds, so convey the message to me in 30 seconds. So that's one thing I'm finding it very interesting, the way the digital marketing is changing, and the amount of pressure that comes to us in terms of working with the pace of the changing world is amazing. So that I think I thought I should give that example to you.
No, that's very true, and then it's dramatic change happening.
Yeah.
And the farmers themselves are a much younger generation now.
Yeah,
To the earlier days, and so they are very tech savvy and have access to all these tools, and then they know exactly where to go. So that also, therefore requires us to train our people, enhance their skills in these areas of reaching out to farmers in different ways.
Yeah.
But also, I think the trade channel. Do you think the influence of trade channel on farmers in terms of their decision making will change or is already changing? Because we are often used to hear that dealer ka sunte hain, and then dealer recommends the product.
Yeah.
I would imagine not anymore, because farmers are tech savvy, they have access to so much information.
Yeah, it's really changing, but in some parts it has picked up very quickly, like in terms of the areas like Chhattisgarh or in Guntur region, the hardcore chilies belt. You can see the farmers are more aware of what is happening around, and they use these technologies. They don't really go by what the distributor or the dealer tells them to spray. Rather, they come up and tell what they want. That is a welcome change, which makes our lives easier in terms of communicating the right product, so that the farmers can really understand what is important for them to do that and spend the money on this. But in terms of digital intervention, I see that the channel partners are adopting. One, from their business point of view, they want to be very clear, that is fast catching up, which was there before, but I think the amount of interest that is being shown now today is quite interesting, and they want everything on the fingertip. That is number one. In terms of communicating to their farmers, I believe it is still catching up, I would say. It is picking up, but it will soon happen. The content matters. What type of content that we as companies are providing, or the distributor is trying to provide to his farmers, matters a lot. That is something I believe is going to be quite interesting change that is going to happen in the coming days, is what I believe.
Will we see some disruption in the market in general agri field, not only our own agro inputs industry, but broader than that?
Yeah.
Let's say I'm just thinking wildly. Suppose farmers need the right perspective and the right recommendation.
Yeah.
I've been running after dealers and some KVK officers and others.
Yeah.
But with digitization spreading so much, already spread out already. So somebody wants to start his own idea of really making recommendations to farmers, agnostic of any company or anything. Just as if I'm the professional or a young agri graduate, if he wants to start up his business, that here is the doctor's advice, straight from doctors, plant doctors.
Yes.
We have a farm where we, from different crops, you actually do the crop management.
Yeah.
And stream every activity, because it's possible, right? You can live stream the activities on the farm. Yes. Therefore, if this evolves, then there will be a lot of dynamics to the power of influence shifting from one place to other. This is a crazy idea, but do you see such disruptions coming in?
This is a very interesting perspective that you have put in place. While we see
Just
some,
my thought, I just cropped up in my mind.
no, that is a very valid one. I think, in some commercial crops or export-oriented crops, we have some sort of consultants who do that. But again, the scope of doing things much better. And India is such a vast country. We have so much of opportunities, and farmers are there. I think this concept of plant doctors or a plant consultant sort of a thing uh, should increase, in my opinion. One is it's happening in some patches for some areas, not in a very organized way, but with the way the opportunity, this also opens up my mind, Mr. Ram. I think thanks for bringing that point here, because it's a great opportunity for us, for the professionals in the industry, to look at it more seriously and closely, and create a reputation for them, and using all sort of technologies to communicate to the farm, because the way the government is supporting now in terms of agriculture is definitely going to grow, and it is the backbone of our industry as well. I think this is something is a great opportunity which should come up, and I believe as we speak, maybe after 3-4 years when we meet, definitely I'm sure that this is going to be on the rise. Now that's fantastic. Yeah.
It's our educational institutions. We being from the agriculture field, let's talk about agriculture colleges. Now with so much happening, as we have been discussing, how do you see the changes that educational institutions should bring in? Like today, I don't have to be taught entomology or pathology, right? It's the AI will tell me everything about the particular disease or the crop or the technical aspects of it. Now, how do we, let's say when we interact with university, I'm sure universities are already thinking about changing their curriculum.
Yeah.
But how do you see the need there, and what changes you think they should be bringing in? Will be interesting to see, right? The way the courses are taught. I think we'll have to completely change.
Yes.
So also with schools, but let's stick to our agri universities.
I remember that some 5-7 years back, I believe, TNAU, Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, they made it compulsory for all the students to have a laptop when they join. And today I hear that the whole campus is Wi-Fi campus, which I'm sure many universities have done that.
Yes.
So I'm sure the way the things are happening at the university levels are also changing very dynamically, and hence the students are now having an access to several inputs which they can look at it and come prepared. Only thing is, I would always say that the balance should be always be there in whatever we do, to make sure that we do the right thing and get the best out of it. But learning on the go is something is fast catching up. And when we talked about the universities, I just want to divulge. I just told Dr. Vijayashree yesterday only that we have launched a program called Parichay. It's an app where we have made it so easy for them to, even they can use it in their mobile. They can learn on the go when they are traveling. If they have some time on a train or a flight, they can do that. I think that's how we are also trying to fast catch up in terms of the education, and how do we make sure that the team members, one, they have access to the way they want to learn, and 3, the easy way to learn, and it's not a particular time that they should dedicate. They can learn at any point of time. This is also changing. I mean, I, for example, have started using ChatGPT for several of my doubts that I have. So, more than Google, I just go and type my question and it comes back with clear answers, and we select what it is. It's going to be very interesting with the way the artificial intelligence is increasing and the way the learning opportunities are changing. I feel that our industry will also be much benefited with this approach.
That's great. I think it's natural that people will progress into these things.
Exactly.
it's all the more important that that natural progression also has to gain pace.
Yes.
Because I was reading one book on artificial intelligence, which says that this is one technology which is not, going to take 5 years, 10 years, 15 years to spread. Like internet took a number of years. Likewise, mobile phone, the way it is today, happened over many years.
Yeah.
But this is going to rapidly change every year. And after a few years, every month.
Yes.
Therefore, there's so much that nimbleness has to come, I think, in the business organizations.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I think the way the technologies which we are talking about now, each and every company has now started looking at this so closely and created a separate function to talk about this. Today in our company, we have a chief technology officer.
Oh.
This for the entire Godrej Agrovet, and this chief technology officer is looking at various things, including the new skills that the team should have, and that is something a company like Godrej is investing heavily on that. So this is very interesting, and we are happy that we are also part of the game, and we are also going ahead and trying to make an impact to the society.
Correct. Well, that's very interesting to see that so much proactive activities and actions being taken at Godrej, which is really important. So that brings me so how do you see, we have, senior managers, all knowledgeable, experienced people as well as youngsters coming in, right? And, all senior people have the knowledge and the experience, but probably the new skill sets is what is required to be, gained by people across. So how do we see this dynamics of, the senior people coming from, many years background, and then you have geeks, youngsters in the organization. So how do you see we address this situation? Any ideas that have come up in your discussions at Godrej?
So I'm happy that these questions are very right and it's coming up from you. I'm very glad to answer that because I'm just trying to recollect what I have done. So we had this sort of gap between the people who were in the organizations for a long time, and the new young generations coming in and trying to use the new latest technology. So we had a session wherein we blend both the people and tried to bring in the value. Rather than saying that this technology is great, only younger generations can really do that, the teams work together to make things understand that, this is the benefit out of this. Irrespective of age and gender or whatever it is, if I can use this, I can also do that. Today, we have, I'm sure, the teams what we are using right now, we have a co-pilot in my system, which can take care of everything. Minutes, I don't have to do anything. I just tell them to take the minutes, it takes the minutes, and I get out after the meeting. So all those things are coming up. I think the use of technology and adoption of those technologies, irrespective of age, is what I would prefer. The curiosity to learn should be there, absolutely. And there is no competition or there is no gap, in my opinion, between the younger generation and the new generation. Probably in the mind it can be, but I think they should come out of that jinx, break that paradigm shift and do this. So I'm very eager to learn new things. So I start looking at always new things that I do, including the latest one, the ChatGPT, what I'm talking about. So we should embrace it.
We should embrace it. I think also, any one person can be a teacher as well as a student at the same time.
Yes,
I think this should be the new mantra, because that is what it is. Like typically seniors take coaching classes, right, for new joinees, youngsters. Generally, it's been happening. I think I clearly see that it happens both ways now. There is a session within the organizations organized where all these youngsters are the coaches.
Yes.
And they are, teaching skills to senior leaders.
So
because they are good at it. Like if something happens mobile, I'm not able to find out, we quickly go to our child, right?
yeah.
So tell me what should I do here? So I think this is the organization have to open up on this kind of thinking. I'm sure it will happen like you guys are doing already.
This is we used to call here as very interestingly, there is a term which we try to push it across, reverse mentoring.
Reverse mentoring, exactly.
You should make sure that the younger people come and tell us, we should adapt that and take it forward, and they become more happy when they learn new skill sets. So they go as a happy person to their family.
How is our industry thinking about these things? And we talked about a lot what you are doing at Godrej.
Yeah.
You think our agri industry is proactive enough? Is there discussion in associations? And are there any initiatives for general skill development efforts for people who are already in the industry and for the folks that are likely to join us? It's a very open question, I know, but any thoughts or any recommendation you would make if you have not come across?
We have not seen a very concentrated effort that is coming on that side, but that is something as associations like what we have in our industry should think about, because still that's an area that all associations can tell what they want from the people who are joining us or who are there in the industry. I think it's still there. It's not yet started, I would say. But given the opportunities and the way that the things are changing for the industry, like we talk about more about, for an example, about drone, and there are a lot of programs in terms of training the people, women in agriculture. We are also doing, like, we want to train 1 lakh women in this current year. That's an initiative taken by Godrej Agrovet. I'm sure that is one industry, the drone can be one thing which can really pick up very fast in our industry. How we are going to shape it up and what type of activities that will lead to shape it up. I think we should work around that. For example, I'm saying, this is one example I'm saying. We have several KVKs around the country. How do we really make those KVKs as information centers to the depth? So that is something like more than 500 plus or 570 KVKs, if I remember. Sometimes you see that the new products which are being launched doesn't still figure in that KVK list for most of the time. So there is a gap. So I think the associations can really work with the government also, as well as the private sectors, and understand what are the things that need to do. It's an area, a very important area to look at. Maybe I will take some initiatives in the associations where I'm representing. But thanks for bringing that point again.
Yeah. No, very important. I like the idea that, because these are some areas where association can work on behalf of the industry with different stakeholders.
Absolutely.
And related to that, therefore, when association or industry leaders together start working on this, I can see a situation where they can be let's say projection of requirements over the next 10 years, right, on various things like drone operators or various other things, which could be very, very useful for if we connect back with universities or the incoming talent that we have. They can come ready with those skills also.
Yes.
So that's a good thing to work with industry bodies and people like leaders like you, or we can come and give share our thoughts as well. But I think when the topic came for considering for discussion, I thought, okay, what do we talk about this? There's always talk about skills all the time, but what is changing? There's so much that is changing now.
Yes.
And, all companies, all individuals also, actually at our individual levels also, we need to change to be able to use what is available. So those were broadly my thoughts, and thank you very much, Mr. Rajavelu, for taking out time and joining and having this chat. I'm sure it will be useful for all those listeners and others who will have a look at this podcast. Thank you again, and all the best in 2025 to Godrej, Agrovet, and to our industry.
Industry.
Helping farmers be successful.